Can you hear me now? Let me know. Uh, let's see. I don't know. Am I apparently the microphone is getting the audio, but I'm not sure. Can you guys tell me? Confirm, please. Thank you, Raul. Thank you for being here, Raul. By the way, yes, right here. In the meantime, on Instagram. Ah, good. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So going back to what we were saying from the beginning, we're so grateful to be here in that position to offer the type of service that we are offering. It is a service that is not destined only to ex students of us or even friends, but people in general that are in this path, the same path that we are, which is learning and mastering a second language, in this case English, and in the process recognizing ourselves in the same path of others. And as you can see, we have been dedicating the last sessions to a series of problems that are really common in an age group, but at the same time that connects to all of us, humanity, because all of us go through the same age group. And nice. And obviously, the topic is related today with the idea of embarrassment. Come on, people. Don't tell me that you never really felt embarrassed. Embarrassed is a situation that happens to all of us. Embarrassment. Feeling, awkward because something happened and not knowing what to do, how to do certain things, uh, going or doing things, but simply because you go through the motions, but not really because you're sure of what you should be doing at the moment. And what else? Let's say sometimes underperforming on things that you're supposed to know for sure. You underperform because you are not sure if you're supposed to be doing that. That whole terrible company, like a ghost sitting on your head. That's pretty much embarrassment, and it's a situation that to some people it just makes them faint. It makes them feel not really themselves, and we all know that we don't want to deal with embarrassment ever. Okay, there's some people in the world that are weird, that love extremes, love to experiment with stuff like, for example, let's say if you're into extreme sports, you obviously are into adrenaline, and in adrenaline you get a series of feelings that you can access to simply by being involved in that particular activity. Let's say, for example, anger, extreme anger in combat sport. You indulge yourself into getting this type of feeling in that particular type of environment because the environment is totally welcoming for it, and it's not in a nocive way. Being somehow emotionally compromised when you're fighting in any combat sport might actually give you an advantage in some cases, but when you're too angry, obviously it never really works because a complete anger, it shuts down your logic when you have to do any decision making process. So going back to what we were saying, other sports, no, other activities that you actually indulge yourself into doing just because you want to feel one particular emotion in that activity. As it so happens with, for example, music. In my case, I love certain type of melancholic music. Not because I want to feel depressed. I actually enjoy the mellowness of that type of music. My wife sometimes tells me, "Hey, that's just too damn. What's going on?" And I say like, "No, no, it's just that song is that way. Come on, that's depressive." I say, "No, it's not really depressive." And we all know, everyone that speaks about bands like Radiohead or Deftones, they will say that you know, this type of music is too down. too depressive. I don't think so. I just think that it's a particular type of mood that you can enjoy if you know, let's say, educate yourself to that taste, right? At the end, most tastes that we have are educated. But when it comes to certain feelings like this ones, anger or somehow mellowness, sadness, or melancholia, or let's say sometimes even envy, depending on of the things that we want to expect, we want to be expectators of, we want to watch. There are certain different things that we can access to just simply because we are blessed by the position that we have of uh, being part of the audience. But when it comes to shame, that is not necessarily the most welcome of all those feelings. Shame doesn't really make us feel comfortable. Shame render us weak. Shame is like the kryptonite for Superman. True. I mean, in what moments you are ashamed? In moments in which obviously you find yourself welcome, you find yourself limited, you find yourself not matching the expectations. You see what I mean? In all those moments, you, the persona that corresponds or represents you, is being let down, and you're letting yourself down. That is something to consider. I mean, just to mention a couple things. When we are in a position in which our ego feels that their representation of themselves is in peril, is in danger, is at risk, well, there is a process of shutting down that our ego goes through. Many of the functions of our ego stop functioning properly at that moment, don't work properly. And that's basically is kind of like when you're playing a video game and you receive, I don't know, you're playing a hunting video game and you receive a curse, and so your powers are undermined, or your powers are simply what's the term that people say in video game language? um, I forgot. Simply your powers are cut half just because you're under discourse. That is the shame, the whole sensation of what shame is, embarrassment. And not many people know how to deal with this, because sometimes the embarrassment is a constant feeling or a constant reaction to a series of events. An example, I have so many different of my physical students that they claim to be extremely embarrassed to be in front of a public and speaking, whenever they have to make presentations. Nerve. Thank you, sir. I know you're following it. Yes, that's the term I was looking for. Very nerdy, thank you. Yeah, you're nerfed when you don't have that extreme power with you, and you want to make something, and you're like hesitating. Like an example, speaking to a girl that you like, first time. They say that it's the butterflies in your stomach, but in reality, the butterflies in your stomach will not really prevent you from, become making yourself an ass. The moment you want to say something cool, you say something totally stupid. It just comes out awfully. Or once you're starting to, hang out with that person, and suddenly you get yourself into a fight with that person just because your words didn't come out well. See what I mean? Same situation. Gotta speak in front of the other students. They might be your friends, but somehow that position of being there in front of others, they're looking at you, directly at you, checking your every moment, and definitely commenting later on, or even at the same time, how you look is not easy. You got other situations of embarrassment. The typical situations of embarrassment you suffer when you live with other people in um, family, your house, your household has so many different memories of all the situations in which you were rendered completely embarrassed. What can we do about it? Can we do anything about it? No, right? We basically just bear with it. We just go roll down with the punches. We just simply say, "Ah, another embarrassment, another trauma in my in my life that I have to deal with." And somehow dealing with embarrassment has to do with growing a little bit of a thick skin when it comes to this. Some of it has to do with, seeing how fragile you are, how capable you are of feeling offended or simply just fragile in moments, or simply just helpless in moments that you can't do anything about it, right? Like, for example, if there is a bad photo of you in the social media that you share with your friends, you can actually feel anxiety. But anxiety is not the first feeling. The first feeling is the embarrassment for sure. So we know that embarrassment is triggering that feeling. Some other times it triggers other feelings that are even worse, like anger. Sometimes this anger can make you try to, you know, react in a violent way, even with those people that you love. That's not good. How many times have you felt that just because you were embarrassed, you ended up making things even worse? Instead of trying to, rescue yourself from the embarrassment, from the situation, you just simply just now anger everybody around because you couldn't really control your emotions, because your emotions just took the worst from you. So we can say definitely that embarrassment is a link to many other different feelings that are not necessarily the best company for the situation that we said before, decision making. You need to make a decision. How do you make that decision? When you are haunted by this. Hello, Jose Andres. How's it going, sir? Welcome. And thank you guys for being the only two participants tonight. And I really, really love the fact that you're doing it. It's easier to flirt with the homies than with a girl. Definitely. Oh, that's from Pedro. Okay, say my hi to Pedro, Mr. Raul. And yeah, exactly. Definitely. Cool. That idea of flirting, even being cheeky, like daring to touch, for example, you would definitely do it with a guy because you don't feel that sort of uh, embarrassment. But when it comes to a girl, and especially if you like the girl, it's even worse, the feeling. Like, it seems like the more you like the girl, the more debilitating that sensation is. Like, the more your hi is gonna sound awful. Instead of saying, "Hey, hi," you say, "Hi." What's going on? What happens? What can we do, actually? Well, the first thing first is understanding a little bit the mechanics behind the whole problem of embarrassment, and that situation that you deal with other people. First thing first, you guys have heard me speaking about this guy before, Slavoj Žižek. Well, Slavoj Žižek mentioned this interesting concept before, that was um, symbolic castration. Now, obviously, he did not come up with the term himself. It's not coined by him. It was coined by Jacques Lacan, as you know. Slavoj Žižek's philosophy is mainly Hegel and Lacan. Uh, Obviously, you have no risk. So, but what does risk mean? Explain a little bit better. So, when it comes to what was I saying before? Sorry, got distracted by Mr. Raul. like always. Thank you, though. Thank you. When I was referring to, okay, the concept of symbolic castration. What is symbolic castration? Again, Lacanian concept, applied incredibly by Mr. Zizek in his analysis with the combination, obviously, of his interpretation of Hegel. He said that it is when an individual, uh, thank you, sir, thank you, is when an individual recognizes themselves by something that others have made public, but that thing is not something that you are proud of. And that situation is awful because obviously your first reaction is to deny it, but it's already out there. And people recognize you by that. You have no control over it. And because you have no control over it, it's called symbolic castration. Raul said it can be defined as an ability to charm or flirt with a potential partner with a pickup lines in general chat. Ah, okay. So this is internet lingo. Thank you. Now I learned something new. Thank you, sir. But then again, isn't that true, Raul, that it is a debilitating situation, that idea that another person have mentioned something awful of you, have made it public. Other people that didn't know you, suddenly they knew you because of that horrible thing. They didn't know you because of all your good things. They know you because of that horrible thing that they found out because of someone that knows you. How does that make you feel? I can give you a couple of other examples. Let's say that um, new in college. This one, you're gonna like this example. You're new in college. First day in college, enter the classroom. Exactly. You enter the classroom first time, and you see that the teacher is kind of like doing some homeroom activities, trying to make everyone bond together. Like introduce yourselves, etc., etc. Obviously, there's a bunch of people, you don't know everyone. This is your first time. You're just new, and you just play along. And there comes your turn. You're saying your name, and you're supposed to say something about yourself, and then someone on the back cuts in and says, "Hey, you're up," and they give you or call you a nickname that was horrible, a horrible nickname that you had when you were back in school, back in high school, kindergarten, whatever, but traumatic, awful. Everybody have an awful nickname, and a story behind that horrible nickname. If that happened, how would that make you feel? This rest of your experience in the first day of class, that class, will not be nice for you. You will not really know how to address other people. If whatever nickname puts you in a position of being, I don't know, disgusting, awful, or simply just a bad person, whatever it is, it will not really make a compliment to the image that you have with the people that are getting to know you. So the fact that you have no control over that is where you begin to get the frustration. And the frustrations lead to the angers, the anxiety, the depression, and many other different feelings that simply will make you not be prepared to what's coming. And what's coming is you will have to do something about it. You cannot simply just let it go because you cannot turn yourself off. You're not a machine. You're a human being. You cannot just simply skip the time. No, you will have to be there swallowing your embarrassment. It does help if you pay attention to the reasons why you get embarrassed. Why do you get embarrassed? Why do we get embarrassed? Well, going back to Lacan and the idea of the ego, no, the fact that your ego feels threatened, feels fragile, feels that its position is moved, is not stable somehow. It's a lot to do with the projection of our image, the way that we project ourselves. The problem is that we don't learn about this, but later in life. You know, the fact that we have some level of agency and control over the image that we project ourselves. We had we were clueless before. Many different actions that we did once, for example, when we were kids, and we used to behave in front of others. So of course, those people that we know from back then, from when we were kids, they know all of our embarrassing situations and moments. We don't want them speaking up when you're meeting new people. You don't want that. You even will say, hey, don't say nothing about this time of my life or this time or this time, please. That is kind of like an unspoken rule among friends from a long time. You don't say stuff that should not be said in front of new people. It's totally different when you are, all together, and it's a blessing, in fact, that you get to have friends from back on in the time of school to your present time. So cherish that if you have it. But continuing on the topic, if you are in a situation in which you are definitely getting that sensation, and you know that the wave is coming, the awful one, all the other different type of feelings that are as a result of feeling this way, it helps definitely if you try to, let's see, conceive that certain aspects of your persona are not necessarily the best ones, are not perfect. So obviously, if you agree that you should be open to any type of criticism because you're not perfect, because not everything that you think is true, it is true, and you're open to be, called out on a situation by people telling you in your face, hey, you're not right in this point. You should consider other different things. If you do that, if you're welcome to do that, somehow the power of the effect, that effect that produces embarrassment on you, shuts down. And we all know that this is true in a practical way, like the example I was referring to when making presentations in public. Me, in my past, I have confessed that I was a musician. I cannot say I am a musician now because I don't even play instruments anymore. But I was a musician, and as a musician, I had to play music, perform on stage, and that sensation for me have always been embarrassing, and it had always given me the wrong impression of performing. Like instead of enjoying my performance because I wanted to be there, I wanted to play with the people I wanted to play. So of course I wanted to be heard. At the same time, I did not enjoy at all. Nice, nice. Thank you, Pedro. That's a good comment. Uh, True. So when you are open to understand that, of course, not everything that you have done in life have been received in a nice way by others. Like sometimes others have really not, uh, let's say, welcome your action in a moment. Obviously, you can say that you have given or given up enough evidence of yourself to basically being called out for some reason or another. If you were caught on a lie, well, for sure that's gonna come to you one day, and people will tell you, hey, you lie about this. So you have to somehow come clean. That idea of coming clean helps. It helps. It helps that you gotta speak about situations that you did in the past and openly, like saying, yeah, it's true. I mean, I felt threatened. I felt fragile. I felt scared. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't have done that, but that happened. Understanding that this happens, I guess we should be capable of understanding and dealing more with this situation that is growing so awfully today. That is the social anxiety situation. Right now, there's so many different ways for you to feel social anxiety, and therefore feel the type of pressure that social anxiety produces on people, and the type of consequences of too much of it, too much stress. If you have that, you for sure have not many good tools on your favor. The opposite is true. You're adding up burden to your own development. So, best thing is definitely open up the option of, you know, being called out. Why not? At the end, at the very end, you are a combination of many different things that people have done throughout your whole life. So many different people have made an opinion about stuff in your life that you have adapted to these opinions, and your own core mode, I come by the word, your own moral code is built up upon everything that you have heard and even read, if you read a lot, about how things are supposed to be. From, for example, the way you wear your shoes, to the way you tie your pants, the way that you use you wear your belt, to the way you wear your hair, your facial hair, the way you speak to other people in public. The older you are, the more conscious you are of all these details about you, because obviously there is a more concern about who are you in front of others. In fact, you become even more dependent on the appearance that you give up, because you know that this can open doors for you or close them. That happens in the world of adults, that they have to definitely consider that if they have a bad image of themselves, they will possibly lose access to money. For adults, you need to have always access to make money, because that's a way to survive. The opposite, not good. So, for teens or everybody else, going back to the situation of embarrassment, think about why you feel embarrassed. I mean, think about what is that somehow, put you in the spot. Like, okay, yeah, my handwriting, I know it's ugly. What can I do? I never really practiced that much of handwriting, because I never really liked my handwriting. So what can I do? Well, to say, I'm sorry. I should know I should write better. So I will try to make it better. But that's it. By recognizing the fact that you're limited on that, you are recognizing that in front of the ones that want to use that against, to make you feel embarrassed. And you somehow rub it up like if you were elastic, like you can bounce up. And that elasticity is necessary for enjoying that. Yes, I'm being true with what I'm saying. You need to be elastic. You cannot break that easily by thinking that you can, sustain every criticism and never break. No, you need to be elastic. And how do you become elastic? Accepting that you're not perfect. And as you're not perfect, people will call you out, see what they say about you, consider. Don't necessarily accept everything, obviously. Because obviously a lot of people will simply just try to again, use that against you, or simply just try to destroy you, because some people are just awful. They project their evil stuff on others. Anyone who simply just negatively points out at people are simply just trying to exercise their own evils. They don't know, but that's what it is. Why should you otherwise be judging people? Like, oh, this guy is too fat. Oh, why should you care? Or this girl is too hairy. Why should you care? Or this person doesn't know how to clean their nose. What should you care? Why do we have to be calling out people? And at the same time, but we have to accept people's bad stuff so easily when it comes to, for example, intervening in a way of lives. There's a lot of awful moments, of awful encounters in terms of how we use our communication, that sometimes we need to learn ourselves. Like, really need to become honest with ourselves and say, look, I don't want to be engaging in awful, stupid, or hypocritical relationships. I want things to be this way between me and you. And once you are that open, that the other person will have to be, open enough to try to reach a similar agreement. Otherwise, you don't really deserve to be dealing with a person like that. A person that simply wants to deal with you from an appearance perspective. It's not really a person that wants to deal with you. It's just seeing you like an object, not like a subject like you're supposed to be. Consider that too. After all this, you will do what people that train themselves to become actors, to become presenters, to become performers do. You know, swallow your fear of being seen by others, and do what you must. Not feeling embarrassed, not feeling nervous by what the other peoples do. Just simply focus in the moment. That focus in the moment, so cool. It's so cool. That sensation that you can do everything because you own the environment where you are actually dealing with the problem. You are simply being yourself. Oh, yeah, this person is saying that I smell bad. Yeah, I'm a human being. I need to be human being to smell, don't I? And so on and so forth. So, people, thank you for coming tonight. I know that tonight. Hello, sir. Um, well, now that you say hi, I'm saying almost bye. I'm really sorry. If you guys want to ask anything before I disconnect, go for it. I know that last week that it was a Q&A. You guys were quite silent, but tonight, hey, I see that you guys are really, really chatty. So come on. If you want to ask anything, I know you guys are. Some of you are really, really free because you just simply found yourself like not having to go to school anymore in regular schedule. Some of you already are busy with the university preparations. I know. uh, Other people are, whomever has that had nothing to do with this. You can see whatever you guys are doing. Thank you for the time that you're taking to listen to our words, to understand basically our aim, what we do in this space, which is offering the capacity to reflect on the things that we reflect on. And as we all come from the principle that two heads think better than one, using that feedback between what you guys have commented in the past and what I can think about what you have commented in the past, and that's basically what we work on here. So, anyway, if you guys don't have any questions, let me just give a little bit of announcement. We have the club for the majority of the audience are interested in us in the work that we do. Some of the topics that we have explained here in these lives in the last Fridays are obviously topics that are dwelled on and with more feedback in obviously the club. So if you guys are interested, and you'd like to participate more actively in that sense, you guys are invited. Clubs for regular audience, we have Wednesdays and Fridays, but we got other days waiting on quorum. So we just simply want you guys to contact us and let us know which days you're interested in. So for the rest of the people, apart from this, we will have more topics to discuss throughout this year. Obviously, these topics will go all the way from different aspects of life, because that's what we love speaking about life in general. From the perspective of age, from the perspective of moments, from the perspective of situations, you know. And of course, we will focus obviously on a value, because the values normally are the ones that mark how we use that memory to remember something. I mean, if there is no value, then you don't remember about it. But when there is a value, reinforced, you got something that you have learned because of that particular experience. So that's basically what we want to work on. The, those things that have made us or given us elements for, experiences that form the way we are. So if you got those, that'll be cool. And topics that are coming, we will obviously, definitely, for sure, but when it is ready, we will let you know. Have another installation of the recommendations for anime and manga as well. Okay. Well, people, that's it for tonight. Have a great evening, you guys. Sorry, great night, you guys. I know that you guys are. Some others are gonna be preparing for the long weekend. Enjoy, always in great, with the best perspective for the future. And remember, speaking about this embarrassment, you guys can think of everything we said about embarrassment and consider how you can prepare yourself to, be the best at dealing with embarrassment. Like, yes, I have mastered embarrassment, if there was such a thing. Anyway, thank you guys for attending. Bye bye. Thank you, Raul, for being the first one tonight. And thank you, Ayman, for being the last one tonight. Good night. All right, guys. We are off here. Yes. We are off here.